I'm reading my book with you because I need to hear it again. Unarmored, the introduction. Nothing like picking up an inspirational personal development book and seeing someone's messes sprawled out on the pages up front, not just hidden in the middle end you might not read corners. I'm not here to bullshit you, to make you believe in the pretty, but to believe in and connect more deeply with the humanness of this glorious life. Maybe this one lady in this crazy book that is ultimately about leadership will tell you more of the truth and give you a little more permission to fall in love with your complex and human self. Armor is heavy. I've carried protective gear forever, and it's all I've ever seen, and most of my mentors even still. Underneath my armor is my humanness, my heart, my longings, my creativity, and the wholeness of all my being. Many days my armor and my desires compete. I can feel the tightness of my breastplate. My soul craves fullness and freedom. Parts of me want connection, people, collaboration, and community. However, my protectors often resist it fiercely, more concerned with safety. They fear me being rejected, ridiculed, unchosen, and unloved. My armored protectors dread the idea of me feeling the pain of being unlovable and insignificant, and especially of doing it wrong. I witness this daily in my own being and in glorious humans just like you. Once you recognize the signs of armor and protectors, the world looks different. Compassion grows. Our souls sense that recognition and compassion and invite us deeper, wider, all the way to the edges, so that we might live soul-full, soulful, and wide. Friends and colleagues sometimes tell me they're shocked at the things I share. Okay. And what I know from tens of thousands of coaching conversations over 18 years is that we all have a human side, just wanting to belong and be loved. But it's often hidden behind the armors we wear. And there, under that protective armor, we can never give nor receive the gifts we're here to share. Piece by piece, I'm becoming unarmored, and I'm happy to share just a bit of that with you. Part 1, Cultivation. Smarty ++. Who would I have to be to write this book? What is the identity of the woman who has written and published this work? I've always seen myself as the woman who wants to write and publish inspirational memoirs and self-leadership books. I've found countless ways to kick the can of this dream down the road ahead of me until now. I've only been the woman who wants to. Who would I be? What would my being, identity, beliefs, energy, and mindset be if I already was the woman who had written the book? What would it require of my nervous system? How could I have led all the parts of me who resisted and threw protective resistance fits along the way? This is how we will become the woman who has written the book. By learning to calm our nervous system and then by connecting with being. This is more than defying doubt with mindset. This is more than manifestation. This is cultivation. I wasn't born wanting to write books. I was born a pink cone-headed 6-pound baby who had no clue of what writing was or could be. I was born with no desire except for the innate desire to be loved and cared for. Then all the things in the invisible systems of life told me what to desire and exactly how to desire it. And so I did. I can't remember where I first learned of the how to have it. Oh, wait, yes, I can. I will tell you the story of my client, Stacy P. and her Gucci shoes later. For now, I finally see clear as day the ability to have that which we want. I have it, and you can learn how to have it too. And I'm rather aware of how this sounds so much like one of the old white men written self-help books that declared everything you desire is within reach. If you only change your thinking, change your life. Find the feel-good place. Use the right manifesting language. Trade up your thoughts. So the most powerful creative thoughts instead of those paltry scarcity and fearful thoughts. Or change your being with your language. Or whatever we have been promised. Am I about to become another promiser? Perhaps. My God, GAWD. That is what I shall call her, GAWD. She has a soft southern drawl in my head. My God. I am totally thankful for those books and teachers and authors who promised me those things. They were mostly true, but not completely. For 49 years, they provided direction and gave my brain a sense of hope. But my body never really discovered those words coming into real live form in my life until they did. That is precisely why I'm finally able to write this book. If you are reading this book, thank you. I'm assuming you're what I will call a Smarty, simply because you are reading a book. That's a big deal. And not only are you reading a book, you are reading this nonfiction book, which makes you a Smarty plus plus in my mind, because you aren't just escaping into the magic of a story. I adore those too. You are hungry for insights and ideas and creative flow and growth. You're a Smarty plus plus. We Smarty plus plus, we love to learn. Learning and growing and reading and studying is juicy and stimulating to us, at least until our brain is bored with one thing, until the next. We Smarty here and we Smarty there, and we get on the keep learning new things train because it is stimulating. Some accuse us of never sticking to one thing for very long. We collect books in 3 formats and pile them on our desk. We have a library of countless half-taken online courses. We even watch TV and movies with Google, Wikipedia, and IMDb at our fingertips. As NBC once told us, the more you know. Marshall Goldsmith wrote a nonfiction book called What Got You Here Won't Get You There. And a few of my mentors used that title as a teaching phrase ad nauseum. It would briefly cross my frontal lobe occasionally, and I would take note and give a mental yeah. Well, dang if Marshall Goldsmith wasn't correct, but reading his book wasn't what got me to the fullness of that wisdom. I tried to pick up the book in the Kindle version and was annoyed to find a comic book inside. What a creative presentation. It was just too much stimulation for my brain. It was as if my new Kindle reader was telling me there is nothing I can learn in these books that means anything if I have not lived it in each and every cell of my body. Life provides the lessons so that all of me, body, heart, and mind, can learn. And this is how my Smarty plus plus parts finally relented and relaxed and gave way to a truly open heart connected to my body after hitting a dead end of what got you here won't get you there. And this is how my Smarty plus plus parts now live in calm, connected, compassionate, curious, clear, creative, confident, and courageous state of being. Most of the time. For real. Not all the time, but much of the time. And I'm good with that. Michelangelo says, I am still learning. I woke up in a second-floor room of a 100-year-old bunkhouse in Calistoga, California. The light was coming through the dated country floral curtains, and I remembered that the election was yesterday, so I reached for my phone, assured that I would see the headlines. Hillary Clinton, first woman president. But I did not. Like exactly half the United States, I was gobsmacked and shocked. I had, after all, dismissed my husband's and some political journalist cynicism that what's-his-face could actually win. At the moment I rolled over and grabbed my phone off the nightstand, only to see she had won, my smart parts choked on their own intelligence and knowing, the way a machine gasps for air and completely quits working with a big, dark puff of smoke. I was in Calistoga on a 9-day painting retreat, one of 4 that year with 10 other women. We were painting to heal, painting to feel, and learning to teach others to do the same. And mercy, did we get the fucking opportunity to feel and heal. That morning, as we gathered in circle, we were all aghast and horrified at the election results. But my friend Antoinette was visibly shaken to her core, almost catatonic. The rest of us had the systemic safety of our white skin and cisgenders, but Anto was Black and gay. I was horrified in my mind, but Anto, who had actually been at that time diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, was terror-stricken in every cell in her body. She was more afraid of the ripple of this next presidential term than she was of her brain cancer. After gathering in our circle with heavy hearts, we were tasked to continue the day's agenda, and so we did. Our first workshop of the day, led by a peer facilitator, was quiet and somber. The heaviness of the shocking news was thick in the air. It was dense in my body, and the thickness was excruciating. Against our workshop guidelines, I broke the silence and cracked a sarcastic joke. Humor has and still is a way for me to disconnect from pain. And in that moment, I involuntarily chose to disconnect. The peer facilitator shushed me with a short, crisp, stinging word accompanied by a sharp glare. Shush. I bit the inside of my cheek to bleeding as my jaw clenched and my blood began to boil. She fucking shushed me? I finished the workshop in silence on the outside, but with searing rage on the inside. After the workshop finished and as we rounded the circle, each giving our constructive feedback, I got hotter and hotter inside. When it was my turn to give constructive criticism, long gone was any adult version of me. At first, a controlled and nervous part of me tried to deliver helpful and polite language for how a teacher could, without the shame of a shush, redirect a student who was breaking the silence rules. After all, I have a master's degree in adult education and have 30 years of facilitation and teaching experience. And just as this meek yet trained, educated, determined part of me began to speak, an angry, volatile teenager part from deep inside pushed right past and unloaded on the facilitator. Who the fuck do you think you are? Shushing me like a fucking dog, I screamed as I stood up and leaned forward to make myself appear bigger. As soon as I realized I'd lost my shit on her in front of my peers and my beloved teacher, another part of me stepped in. A part of me I call shrinking shame flooded my body and thoughts. I'm leaving. I'm getting in my car and I'm going to the airport now. I trembled, trying to pretend I was strong. And as I began to bolt from the group, the bulky arrangement of the couches set into a clunky circle, the warm voice of my mentor stopped me. You can leave if you want to, but I hope you will stay. Her voice was calm, not shocked at all, just soothing enough to give me space to leave without actually leaving all the way. One woman gave my body something no book could ever give me. In a moment of threat, she let my body and my nervous system know it was safe to be, even raging with her. Although still shaking, I stayed for the first time with the help of a beloved wise woman, so full of self-energy. I didn't leave. I didn't leave the retreat. I didn't leave myself. Up in my room later that night, having apologized and reconciled with the victim of my vitriol, I was left with the horrified voices of my parts, scolding shame and confusion, screaming through my thoughts. I know better. How can I lose control like that? How can a part of me be so wise and then another part completely loses my shit when it comes to practicing the wisdom I teach every damn day? It was moments like those that helped me see, no matter how much coaching and learning I did, I still wasn't free. No matter how many books I read, I never achieved those promises. Over the years, these moments would creep up on me, often in explosions. I would be fine one moment and flooded the next with what seemed to be younger, terrified versions of me. My brain and intelligence of being in my 40s and being overtaken by a 3 or 7-year-old version of me in all her desperation. I've been certified since 2012 in a modality that does inner parenting work. I've done inner child work and healing over the years. And experiences like these let me know there were more parts of me to be unearthed, more of me to meet. The work in my head was just the front porch of my becoming all of me. Hello, heart and soul. I see you. I'm here for you. I will not leave you. I'm listening. Come inside. Come be with me. Here you will find the calm you seek. Put all of the other sources down and source inside. I came into this world hearing the messages of my heart and soul, fully intertwined with spirit. I could hear what my heart was saying until I couldn't. The world got noisy, as it does for all of us. I don't remember when or how it happened. It was subtle. That slow smothering of self in service of the rules, the opinions of others, and the ways of ordinary life. What was once confidently clear and open became confusing, constricted, and conflicted. But my heart and soul never left me. No matter what walls I constructed or how I kept her fiercely guarded, she continually and gently whispered, and on occasion ached in my body for attention. For years, instead of listening to my soul, heart, or body, I let my head take the lead. Years of heartbreaking moments and relationships made it convenient to escape into my brain, my intellect, my mindset, and my cognitive capacity. And still, my soul, my heart, and my body waited patiently. They knew. They trusted me to get lost. They knew that getting lost would be the path to genuinely coming home to myself. They knew that learning to trust myself would cause me to completely and wholly meet myself so that I could fully be myself with an open and unburdened